The Acolyte has seemingly done what no other show or film has done before. It broke Star Wars. Or so that's a popular opinion on the internet. With the release of Episode 3, the discussion online has centered around one thing: the death and destruction of Star Wars. Even before its release, the internet was rife with talk surrounding the controversial episode that it mocks the ideas laid out from the original trilogy and flat out changes the lore. All of the controversy is further spurred on by recent interviews from show creator Leslie Headland. Despite everything you might hear online, none of this is in fact true, and Star Wars, at least Disney's Star Wars, remains unchanged. The Acolyte features a coven of witches in a matriarchal society, but The Last Jedi and Mandalorian both featured societies led by women, and Ahsoka featured witches, so nothing is new here. Their satanic chanting creeps me out, and I don't blame the kids for trying to escape, but this is in line what we've already seen in Disney's Star Wars. In Episode 3, the Coven's leader gives an alternate explanation of the Force, saying it's more like a thread to be pulled on rather than a power to be wielded. Aside from being a cheap shot at the Jedi, it doesn't change the nature of the Force. It's still a loosely defined source of energy and life, and describing it in this way doesn't change that. The only thing that is changed is its presentation, which is frankly lame. The witches demonstrate pushing each other around with the Force and then blocking that push. It looks stupid and doesn't convey the sense of power that surrounded it when presented in the original trilogy. But it doesn't break the lore, and neither does the creation of the children. Episode 3 also reveals that the twins were born from two mothers, one who carried the children and one who created them with the Force. It's a pointless development clearly shoehorned in to promote a particular message, but again, it's nothing we haven't seen before.
Who was his father?
There was no father. I carried him, I gave birth, I raised him. I can't explain what happened.
In the prequels, it's heavily implied that Anakin was created by way of the Force by the most powerful individual in the universe, which explains the might of the Skywalker blood. The only difference here is that the twins are far less powerful than the Skywalkers and a lot more ordinary, unless we count the fact that they somehow made stone flammable. And while this sort of dilutes what the Emperor did with Anakin, no lore was actually broken. The Acolyte is also structured as a mystery series and presents the Jedi as less than benevolent, with the Coven expressing disdain and fear of them. Neither of these are new concepts either, as in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, it's also structured as a sort of film noir in space, with Obi-Wan working as the hard-boiled detective, unraveling the mystery as the film progresses. In this film, and more predominantly Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, the Jedi, while shown to be on the side of good and striving to live in the light side of the Force, had become blind to the evils that had surrounded them, and that they share in the blame of the creation of the Empire. So all this being said, the Acolyte, in fact, does nothing new, and the controversy surrounding it is only played into the hands of the showrunners, creating conversations around a show that otherwise would have gone completely unwatched. The sins of the Acolyte are many. Absolutely squandering the talents of the great Carrie-Anne Moss, spending $180 million on a show that looks like this, and worst of all, making Star Wars boring. The Acolyte did not destroy Star Wars. Star Wars has been dead ever since George Lucas sold it to Disney.
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It